Welcome back to News Center. I'm Alix Kunkle with your sports report. After a 75-46 victory over Edinburgh, the women's basketball team's 9-game win streak was put on the line in a top 10 matchup against the Crimson Hawks of Indiana, who came into the game with a 7-game win streak of their own. The win streak, however, wasn't the only thing at stake. The winner of this game would move in the sole possession of first place in the PSAC West. Which team would come out of the game on top? We find the action in Hamer Hall, where early on, Amber Dubiak hits a big three. As you're going to see right here, big three by Amber Dubiak. That's going to put the Vulcans up 5-0. She had 3 threes in the first half. A little bit later, it's Lindsey Johnson with the 3 off the inbounds play. That would put the Vulcans up 10-4. Then it's the Brooke Williams show. She had another big game yesterday, adding 2 points here. Vulcans go up 24-11. They were up 31-21 at the half. Starting over in the second half, it was more of Cal as Kayla Smith corrals the rebounds and puts it in 33-24 there, or 21, I'm sorry. And then Kayla Smith still down low, hoop and the harm, 40-21 Cal. And then it's even more Brooke Williams. As you're going to see here, she's going to hit another 2. She had 30 on the night, and the Vulcans would go on to win 66-43. Again, with 30 points, Brooke Williams led all Vulcan scorers for the 3rd straight game. She also added 12 rebounds. Sophomore Kayla Smith had 11 points, senior Shaquetta Mance had 10, and sophomore Amber Dubiak had 9 for the Vulcans. Jazinga Tracy led the IUP scorers with 10 points, and the California beat the Crimson Hawks at home for the first time since 2007. After the game, Dubiak had this to say about defeating the 9th-ranked team in the country.
It was amazing. We practiced really hard for this game, and we knew what we had to come out and do, and we just wanted revenge from last year to prove ourselves that we are a better team than them. So,
with the win, the Vulcans improved to 5-0 in PSAC West play, becoming the only team still undefeated in PSAC in conference play. California now also boasts a 16-2 record, the best in the PSAC. IUP falls to second with a 4-1 conference record. Taking a look at the national WBCA rankings, California moved up to 3rd in the latest poll, 1 spot higher from last week's rankings, which is their highest position since the preseason poll. IUP, the only other PSAC team in the poll, stayed put at their rank of 9th in the country. Now as we transition to the regional rankings, California is 1st overall in the Atlantic region with IUP 2nd. PSAC foe Gannon is 4th in the latest poll, and PSAC East teams Millersville and Westchester are 8th and 10th in the region respectively. On the other side of the coin, the men's team came into their matchup with IUP after suffering a late loss to Edinburgh, which dropped them into a 4-way tie for the lead in the PSAC West with Gannon, Edinburgh, and IUP. Back to a snowy and icy Hamer Hall we go to find out if California could rebound from their loss or if Indiana could avenge a loss of their own. And as we pick it up early here, it's going to be Daryl Webb with a dunk, putting the Crimson Hawks up 14-8, but here comes Samba Fall with a big dunk that gave California their first lead of the game at 15-14. Later, Julian Logan gets into the action there as California trims the deficit to 5. They went into the half, however, up 29-27. In the second half, Julian Logan still having fun. Alley-oop there. Vulcans go up 31-27. They were up as much as 10, but IUP claws back. And here, Julian Sanders 3-ball to put the Hawks up 47-45. But the Vulcans weren't done. Jeriel Nixon here, 3-ball, puts the Vulcans up 55-53. The lead was short-lived, however, as Gerald Brooks is going to come up with a jumper here. Hawks go up 59-57. Tanyan Pearson has a chance to win it, but it doesn't go, and the Vulcans drop another close one, 65-62. Jeriel Nixon and Tanyan Peterson led the Vulcans with 13 points each. Kelsey Williams had 9 points, and Trayvon Van had 8. Williams also had 6 rebounds to lead the team. Gerald Brooks led the Crimson Hawks with 20 points and 10 rebounds. As we look at the men's standings, the Vulcans fall into a three-way tie for third in the West Division with Edinburgh and Slippery Rock at a 3-2 record. IUP and Gannon are tied for the lead with 4-1 records in conference play. The Vulcans take a trip on I-79 North on Saturday to meet the Mercyhurst Lakers in the Mercyhurst Athletic Center. The action starts with the women taking the court at 1 p.m. and the men at 3. You can catch the action live on 91.9 FM or on tape delay on CUTV. Moving from the hardwood to the frozen pond, the Vulcan ice hockey team came into last Friday's game on a 2-game winning streak, but were met with a challenge against the Pitt Johnstown Ice Cats, who led the CHE's South Division with 13 points. The Vulcans came into the game in second place in the North Division, trailing Robert Morris University by 3 points. We catch the action at Blade Runners Arena in what would turn out to be a high-scoring affair. And early in the first period, it's going to be B.J. DePauli busting in the breakaway and scoring, putting the Vulcans up 2-0. DePauli had a big night, as you're going to see him again here, lurking in front of the net and putting it home, 3-0 Vulcans. DePauli's going to score again here as he's still in front of the net, makes it 4-0. The Vulcans were up 5-0 at the end of the first. But the Ice Cats clawed back as it's going to be Kyle Harnan scoring from the point. That was 5-2. They would come within 5-3, but the Vulcans would pull away as it's DePauli again getting upended, but still putting it home. Alexander Ovechkin-esque. Vulcans go up big, and then it's going to be Nate Bond, from the point, puts the Vulcans up 8-4, and the Vulcans would go on to win big by a score of 15-5. The 15 goals scored by California were the most in the game this season and most overall since November of 2007. B.J. DePauli had 5 goals for the Vulcans. Nate Bond and Craig Eddy each added 3. DePauli and Ryan Jones led the way with 7 points. Eddy and Bond each had 4. And after the Vulcans beat Pitt on Saturday 10-6, the Vulcans moved within 1 point of Robert Morris for the lead in the North Division. The Vulcans' next game is Friday against Penn State Behrend. Puck's drop is at 9:20 p.m. And from the frozen pond to the indoor pond, the Vulcans' swimming team hosted the Dual Meet Challenge Invitational over the weekend, and the Vulcans took the individual title with 729 points during the course of the weekend, winning 21 of the 22 events. The Vulcans broke school records in the 50 freestyle, the 400 medley relay, and the 400 freestyle. Freshman Melissa Gates was part of all 3 of the records that were set. The Vulcans' next matchup is on Saturday when they travel to Batavia, New York for the Jeunesse Community College Invitational. So guys, seeing how I have an Eagles fan and a Steelers fan sitting right next to me, what are your score predictions for Sunday's big game?
You know what? If there's one thing that Eagles fans do best, it's hold grudges. Against the Cardinals, I'm going for the Steelers all the way. I don't really have a score pick, though, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with 24-14 Steelers.
24-14. Well, I'd like to see, it'd be only fitting to see some sort of crazy score like 8-4 or something, but I think it's going to be 27-21 Steelers pulling it out.
Thanks, Alex. That's the news this week on CUTV.
Thanks. We'll see you next week.